What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. Today is our first video going over the Panthers 2024 offseason. Man, I'm kind of glad the season's over, right? It wasn't going anywhere good, right? So now we have to look forward to the draft picks, free agent signings, new head coach, new GM, all that fun stuff. Now, we don't have all of our draft picks, but we do have some. So let's try to stay a little bit optimistic in that area, right? But today, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about the Panthers 2024 opponents right here. Whew. Definitely not an easy schedule, right? But comment below right now. Predict the Panthers 2024 record. Let's try to have a little bit of optimism, right? A little bit of optimism. If you don't, I get it, right? Maybe you want to see who do we sign as the head coach, GM, free agents, draft picks. I get it, right? But let's go over the opponent. Let's talk about the weakness, strengths. Panthers match up to them. Let's get after it. So the first we're going to talk about is the Giants. Obviously, we know about the Falcons, Saints, and Bucks, right? But the first one we're going to focus on is the Giants. Giants have a pretty good young team. Good front seven. Offense, that's their question mark, the quarterback. Daniel Jones or DeVito, right? They have Barkley. They got Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson. They got Darren Waller. So they have people at every position, but can they find the quarterback to piece that together? I think the Panthers can stack up well against them if we get our offense right. The next one's going to be the Cowboys. The Cowboys is going to be interesting. After losing to the Packers in the playoffs the way they did, I'm sure Jerry Jones is going to switch things up. I'm sure CD's going to stay on the team. Is Dak still the quarterback? Potentially new head coach too. The Cowboys one will be interesting to watch the closer we get to that game. Cardinals one is one I'm excited for, right? The Cardinals, they kind of struggled last year too, right? Kyler came on late, and that offense really never got going, right? So Kyler against Bryce Young, definitely a matchup I can't wait to see, right? Two small quarterbacks. And Bryce was definitely compared to Kyler early on. So we'll see how those two match up together. The Chiefs one is probably the one I'm most excited for. Now, when I say excited, I don't mean literally excited, right? What I mean by excited is the Chiefs love to play physical on defense, right? They love to blitz. They have two great corners. You got Snead and McDuffie, and they're going to press. And that's something I want to see early on in the season. I hope the Panthers play the Chiefs early on. Even if they don't win, I want to see, does this team have any potential? Can we beat the press? Can we escape the pressure? Spagnuolo, Chiefs defensive coordinator, he loves to blitz. That's going to be a game I hope to see early on to see, do the Panthers have a chance this year? Right there will tell me, even if they don't win, what kind of season we're going to have. Whether it's good, not bad, but improvement from last year, or another crappy season. I hope we verse the Chiefs early on. I think it's going to be a good test for everybody. Let me know what you guys think on that, but I hope they verse the Chiefs early on. Let's talk about the Chargers. The Chargers, very offensively gifted, right? You got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Eckler. They have a couple good tight ends as well, and then obviously Herbert, right? But that secondary, that defense, man, that is bad right there because they have a bunch of names, and they can't piece it together. That secondary is, whew, it's not good, right? So it's kind of the opposite of the Panthers. The Panthers didn't have any names on the offense and didn't do anything. The Chargers have a bunch of names on the defense and didn't do anything either, right? So that's interesting right there. That game's going to be interesting to watch. Can the defense hold off the Chargers long enough for the offense to do something? We'll have to see what happens. The Bengals game is going to be interesting. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, whew, and they got Mixon too. That should be a fun game to watch. I hope the Panthers can compete because who's going to pick up Jamar Chase? Is Horn going to be healthy? Also a big question mark for this season. Let's jump to our away schedule. We got Philly, Washington, Chicago, Denver, and Raiders. Let's start with Philly. Jason Kelce retiring. What happens to the head coach? They said Nick Sirianni's potentially on the hot seat. Eagles game could be interesting. Now they have two great receivers, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, right? Good tight end too. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Panthers defense covers A.J., Devontae, and their tight ends, right? Definitely a game I would like to see as well, just from the defensive perspective. The Chiefs, I want to see how they respond to McDuffie and Snead. When it comes to the Eagles, I want to see how do they cover A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and the tight end and the running backs too, right? Washington Commanders, man, their defense was like the Panthers' offense. Now, I said the Chargers' defense was bad, but the Commanders' defense, that secondary, that's not good right there. And the offense isn't bad. They had a little bit of a slow start, got it going, and then basically fell off, right? I think they benched Sam Howell twice in the second half towards the end of the season. So the Commanders game, I think we're neck and neck there. I really do think we're neck and neck. Obviously, we'll have to see what happens in the draft, but the Washington game, I think we're right there with them. Let me know what you guys think. The Bears game, I think we win that game if we contain, Tyson rolling out. I think the Panthers just kept letting Tyson roll out, and he was making throws on the run. You contain Tyson, I think the Panthers win. The Broncos is going to be interesting because as of right now, I don't think Russell Wilson will be that quarterback anymore. That defense is amazing, but the Broncos now need a quarterback. We'll see what happens there. They've got a couple good running backs. I don't know the contract details on that, so maybe they will be there or won't be there next year. But that'll be a game, too, which I would love to see the Panthers face early on because I want to see tough defenses to see how does the offense develop. So depending on who's going to be the offensive coordinator next year, will it be Thomas Brown, will it not be, right? Who's calling plays? The Broncos and Chiefs, I hope we verse one of them early on because we're going to get tested. And we may lose. That's fine, right? It's a, 17-game season. I want to verse one of them early on. I'm not worried about the defense. I want to see what is the offense made of, right? Even if they lose, can we fix our mistakes and then, bam, go out the next week and look even better? That's what I'm hoping to see. Let's talk about the Raiders, the last team we're going to talk about. Good old Las Vegas Raiders, not the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. They potentially have a quarterback controversy, right? They got Jimmy G. Aiden O'Connell started, the last 8-10 games, whatever it was, right? And there's talk they potentially draft a quarterback too. So the Raiders, they got Devontae Adams, you got Josh Jacobs, couple fast pieces too, Jacoby Myers and Tucker over there. So the Raiders definitely have some talent. I think defense is their weak point, but offense, it's going to be interesting. Who do they put at quarterback? You sign Jimmy G to that big contract. You have AOC, Aiden O'Connell, and there's talk of them potentially drafting a quarterback too. And they're potentially going to let Antonio Pierce walk. So that's going to be interesting because that would mean they're going to need a new head coach, which means they're probably going to have a new offensive play caller too. So as you can see, man, interesting schedule for the Panthers this year. Comment below early predictions on the Panthers 2024 record. Obviously, we'll do this again after the draft, free agent signings, right? But let me know as of right now, what do you guys predict? I'll catch you guys on the next one. We're talking head coaches down the road and film study over defensive player. Stay tuned. I'll catch you guys on the next one.